Well, it's time now to take our daily look at the international press. France24's Owen Fairclough joins me in the studio. Good morning, Owen. Well, of course, there's been widespread international condemnation today of that attack on the Jewish seminary. You've been looking at reaction, I believe, across the Middle East. Absolutely, Catherine, and as you'd expect, opinion about this is sharply divided. Let's start, first of all, with the Jerusalem Post. Their front page leading on that, and an editorial there where they pull no punches, describing this as an assault on the heart of Zionism. They're saying that this seminary was a school for training judges, rabbis, and so on who went to work in Gaza, so a very symbolic target. And they say that this attack is a sharp blow to Israelis who've let their guard down since the end of the Intifada in 2005. Now, what's the reaction on the Gaza Strip? We've seen Hamas at least declaring this as a victory. Indeed, and the website of the largest Israeli newspaper, Yediot Ahronot, their website, Y News, carries a photo showing and a headline saying thousands in Gaza celebrate, and talking about people handing out sweets on the streets there. They also have an editorial which raises the spectre of a third intifada, suggesting that Hamas may try to rally other organisations to demonstrate this will lead to further violence and renewed outbreak. Right, well, now for something completely different, as they say, Owen. We read a lot, of course, about British people crossing the Channel, searching for that French rural idyll, snapping up cheaper housing and so on. But now it looks like they could be helping to govern the country, whatever next. This is it. This is the great British love affair with France, and it seems that English people or British people, I should say, who've been snapping up properties in France are now trying to get themselves into the town halls as well. The local elections in France take place on Sunday, and according to the UK Guardian, there are thousands of Brits who are standing for elections, standing in the local elections. One town in the Dordogne called Emet, there are 6 people alone who are standing. Many of them are apolitical, though. They're not so much interested in grand politics, more campaigning for things like basketball courts and youth clubs. Well, I hope they know all the vocabulary necessary for that. 6 months on to the Beijing Olympics, of course. Stadiums are nearly finished in China, but the government is now, I believe, turning its attention to the health of sports fans. Indeed, I've been looking at the China Daily Post, and there, according to the government there, the Ministry of Health has set up a telephone advice line. They've had this for a few years now, but for the Olympics in the summer, they're going to make this available in English, presumably for fans coming from all over the world. Now, it's not only an advice line. People who want to use this can report outbreaks of or public health problems and so on. Now, it sounds like a good idea, but I think you should know that the director of the hotline's admitted that many of the people staffing it have no medical experience. So quite what kind of advice they'll be able to dispense, we're not sure. Last year, this hotline in Beijing alone received 3,400 complaints. Most of them were about food poisoning and out-of-date supermarkets. I see. So it's not the kind of advice line where people can phone up and say, I've been inspired by the Olympics, I'd like to take up jogging. Nothing like that? Possibly not, no. We think it's more to do with outbreaks of unfortunately, one of the examples that lists if somebody has diarrhoea, they can perhaps call up and explain where they contracted this and how they can help other people. Right, again, we come back, just like we did with the British story there, to items of very necessary vocabulary. Well, thank you very much indeed, Owen Fairclough, for that review of the international papers. Stay tuned to France 24. We'll be back, of course, with more live news in just a few minutes.